Late this afternoon, Israeli forces confirmed they have launched a major offensive against the Palestinian territory of Gaza, including midnight airstrikes. It has also confirmed shelling has started by troops massing along the border, but has walked back an earlier claim that forces are now operating inside the Gaza Strip.
A city under siege from above, and the death toll on the ground is mounting. This video has just been released by the Israeli Defence Force of their overnight offensive on what they say was an underground tunnel system. It's not being called a war yet, but propaganda is still a weapon. Both sides are now stepping up their attacks. Israel says 150 rockets have been fired by Hamas militants in the past 24 hours. Here, they're being intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defence as people watch on. Israel has vowed Hamas will pay a heavy price, amassing troops along Gaza's border and calling up 9,000 reservists. Overnight, the Israeli Defence Force tweeted, IDF air and ground troops are currently attacking in the Gaza Strip, before clarifying there are currently no IDF ground troops inside the Gaza Strip. Australians working for aid agencies describe the situation as dire.
With COVID patients still occupying ICU beds and now an influx of well over 600 injuries, it's clear that the healthcare system is at risk of collapse.
Buildings inside Gaza have been flattened by days of airstrikes. This man is being warned by Israeli defence to leave. He tries to argue but is told there's an order to strike.
I think that what everybody wants to see is urgent de-escalation.
We've been very clear that rocket attacks must cease. We've been very clear about Israel's right to defend itself.
Egypt is attempting to negotiate a ceasefire, but with every strike, every death, turning back is a path neither seem willing to take. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Let's go now to our National Affairs editor, Hugh Riminton. Hugh, you have covered this conflict many times, so why does it never seem to end?
Well, the people of Gaza and the Jews of Israel have been at each other since Old Testament times. The Jewish hero Samson, tricked by his lover Delilah, was carried in chains to Gaza and got his revenge when he used his mighty strength to pull the temple down on the Philistines. We'll come forward 3,000 years and we have an Israel that completely dominates the people of Gaza. Here's why. The UN plan after World War II was a new state of Israel, but no one liked it much. The first Arab-Israeli war ended with Israel expanding its borders and 700,000 Palestinians being expelled from their homes. In 1967, Arab nations led by Egypt went to wipe out Israel. But Israel struck first in a breathtaking victory known as the Six-Day War. Israel now had Jerusalem, and just 2 territories were left for the Palestinian people in the Israeli-occupied West Bank and in the tiny Mediterranean enclave Gaza. 2 million people now live here, most of them in abject poverty with neither hope nor jobs. It has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Since 2007, it has been controlled by Hamas, an Islamist force whose military wing, Australia says, are terrorists. The latest horrendous scenes this past week escalated from a move to evict 8 Palestinian families from Jerusalem so Jewish settlers could take their homes. But in truth, it could have been any spark. Israel says Hamas are terrorists. Hamas refuses to recognise the Jewish state. There is therefore no path to any peace deal, and without one, there is no conceivable end to the miseries of the Middle East, with tonight further escalation looking the far more likely outcome.